What's up guys, Matt back again with another unboxing video, and today we're going to be reviewing the Matchmaker's Super Saiyan Goku versus 100% Full Power Frieza. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. These figures are based off of Goku and Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. I'm not sure what these figures are based on. If you know, please let me know down in the comment section below. This is the Matchmaker's release, which are Banpresto Crane figures of two characters fighting from Dragon Ball. These figures sell for an average price of $40 US each on the market. If you're interested in buying the figure for cheap, then use my discount code Peaches24 at bashmancollectibles.com to get 10% off of your first order and 5% off of every subsequent order. These figures were released June 7th, 2018 in Japan. Goku stands at about 9 inches tall on his base. Frieza stands at about 8 inches tall on his base. Goku weighs 14 ounces in box. Frieza weighs 14.9 ounces in box. Goku weighs 10.1 ounces on his own. Frieza weighs 11.1 ounces on his own. Goku comes with his upper body, lower body, base, and support. And Frieza comes with his upper body, lower body, tail, base, and support. The very first Matchmaker's release, Super Saiyan Goku versus 100% Full Power Frieza. Definitely the right type of figures to start a series like Matchmaker's on. It's a no-brainer. It's the most popular fight in the entire history of Dragon Ball, I believe. Maybe, definitely, arguably more popular, or maybe a little less popular than Goku Vegeta. But nonetheless, let us see how these have held up over time. I've been really excited to talk about these, and a lot of people have been asking me to do so. So let's go and dive right in. As a character choice, like I said, this is the perfect way to start a series about matchups in Dragon Ball Z. It is the most popular, if not that, one of the most popular fights in all of Dragon Ball Z. Goku versus Frieza is legendary. So legendary, it was in the news here in America when it was premiering on Toonami. So like that popularity exceeded when it actually aired in Japan years before that. So pretty awesome to see. Hey, and Varuk is the one who sculpted these. No, believe it or not, our boy from GX Materia and some very iconic Ichiban Kuji figures. He sculpted these way back in the day, back in 2018, which was 6 years ago. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Yeah, it's a very cool way to start this series off. So character choice for both of these is easily a 5 out of 5, especially if you're going to get them together, which, you know, I think most of the time you do want to get Matchmaker's figures together. But let us talk a little bit about their likeness, which, you know, in perfect Varuk style, they are perfect. Goku's face is perfect, dude. Like, everything about it is really well done. You can see, like, he even sculpted, like, the inside of his mouth. He's got those like anime lines and scrunched up nose and everything. He just looks really good in the face. I think he just nailed it, like that particular Goku style. And even Frieza, you know, Frieza's all pissed off and screaming. But even he got a really nice sculpting job done on his face. You can even see like the veins and stuff around there. And of course, both of them are scratched up and bruised and bloody from their fight. So that level of detail on both of their faces is magnificent. Both of them are getting a 5 out of 5 on their likeness. It is a no-brainer. They certainly both look like Frieza and Goku. There's so much to appreciate there. Now, let us talk a little bit about sculpt quality. Goku is near perfect. He is, of course, on this gigantic base, which kind of sucks. Both of them are on these gigantic bases. However, the actual figure itself, his sculpt, is magnificent. His hair doesn't have that fluffy Super Saiyan style that I like, but I still do like the way that he sculpted it. It's not like outrageous in how detailed it is. It has all the lines and stuff on it to show like the feeling of hair. His muscles are really, really well sculpted, dude. He is just ripped. I do like it when Goku in this form, he's depicted as a little bit bigger and buffer because that's how it was in the manga and the anime back then. But, you know, if you do want a more modernized look for Super Saiyan on Goku, this still works. And then, of course, all of the little, like, battle damage and scratches and cuts on his pants are really well done. I will say, though, that because he is a little bit bigger and heavier, which maybe this explains why Crane figures are getting smaller nowadays, he kind of slides off a little bit from the peg that's stuck inside of his butt here. So that's a little worrying. I hope over time he doesn't just like fall off and it just doesn't work anymore. But yeah, that's it with Goku. So Goku sculpt quality will get a 4 out of 5. But let's talk about Frieza a little bit. Now, Frieza has a lot of the same good qualities that Goku has. You know, you can see veins all over his body. His big, giant, bulging muscles are really well done. You can even see like the strains of the muscle fibers in his neck because he's just like outstretched and about to throw things. So the level of detail's off the chain here. And of course he's got his tail slightly cut off. So really, really cool details there. However, because his upper and lower half are connected, when you're putting it together, you can super duper tell that there's a deviating line between his torso and his legs, which is kind of disappointing. And then, of course, there's the deviation with his tail and his lower body, which is like kind of a big circular line around him back there, which is also like a little disappointing. It's just not quite as good as Goku. And of course, he doesn't have the same issue of sliding off of this gigantic base that Goku does, probably because he's a little more upright, so his weight is a little more centered. But he is on this base too. So even though I do really like the sculpt, there's just a lot that kind of brings it down a little bit. So I'm going to give his sculpt a 3 out of 5. I really do like it, but it just has a few issues. And Frieza does have a few more issues, which we will talk about here in a second. But let's talk about the good first. Goku's paint and shading, spectacular. Lots of shading on his skin. This was back when pretty much all Crane figures got shading. But you can see some shading on his skin from his upper torso to even on his legs that are torn through his pants. You can see shading on his gi. Lots of mixtures of bright oranges and darker oranges. And there is some shading on his belt that shows like kind of like some battle damage almost. So there's some like blacks mixed in there. And his hair is more of a glossy, glittery sort of finish, which isn't like my favorite, but it is really, really well done. And of course, he does have all the blood and everything scattered around there. So if Goku's hair was kind of more of a matte finish or something, I might have appreciated it a bit more. So I'm going to give Goku's paint and shading a 4 out of 5. It's nearly perfect. Really, really great job on it nonetheless. But Frieza, man, they messed it up, man. Like he's got great like shading, like the detail and shading on his upper body is like perfect, dude. And the blood and the scratches and everything. The purple spots on his body, they're also like the right color, I believe. Yeah, they're the right color. They're a purplish color. They're not blue, which I love seeing that in Frieza figures. But his lower body is like literally a different color. They made his lower body a different color. So there's just this super hard like contrast between his upper body and his lower body. It almost makes it look like a bootleg. So, that sucks, man. And his tail is like a whole different color from his lower body and it's connected to it. So it just brings it down so much. It's so distracting. So unfortunately, I'm going to give Frieza a 2 out of 5 for his paint and shading. They just messed it up, and I don't think this is Varrook's fault. I think Varrook just sculpts these things. He doesn't have a say in the paint and shading. So whoever paint and shaded this thing, what the heck, dude? Like, not a good job. Not good. And it could be Bandai's fault and just like mass production, like just be sloppy. Awful. Almost a 1 out of 5 just because of how bad it is, but the rest of the figure is good enough for me not to give it a 1 out of 5. But yeah, this is just, they just messed it up. This is awful. Size and scale, these were when Matchmaker figures were, you know, not super tiny. They're fairly big figures. They're gonna tower above most of your modern Crane figures. Because, you know, Goku just being at 9 inches tall, he's as tall as a Master Lee's when he's on this base. They're both floating in the air, so the figures themselves are like 6 to 7 inches in actual size. But being on the base, having them float elevates them a little bit. So I do think they're both sized really well. I wish Crane figures would still get this kind of treatment today, but I'm assuming the budget's moved around and their priorities are more in like a Jabankuji or something else. I don't know. But size and scale for both of them is a 4 out of 5. Really, really solid. They're probably the biggest Matchmaker figures in the entire series. So if you do want some larger ones, these are probably something that you're going to look into. So yeah, guys, I walked away kind of mixed on Frieza especially. You know, Goku is magnificent. Even if you want to get him by himself, he works as a figure by himself for sure. But of course, you know, that's the whole point of the Matchmaker series is to have these figures together. So if you're going to get the Frieza, I would not recommend getting him alone. If you're going to get Goku, I can see a strong argument for getting him by himself. But if you're going to get Frieza, get both of them together, because otherwise I just look at it. Like, it's good, but Jesus, dude. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to walk away and I'm going to rate both figures individually and then them as a set. So Goku's going to get a 4 out of 5. Frieza is going to get a 3 out of 5. And both of them as a set, I'm going to walk away and give them a 4 out of 5. Thank you all again for watching today's video. But before we move on to the upcoming giveaways this month, I'd like to mention my new merch that's launched. We've got shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. If you want to support me a bit further and rock some of the merch on the channel, please check out the shop tab on my channel. But until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.